Starting.
Hello, we're starting. Both Rob and I were doing the head dance while the whirly started everything. Hello, everyone, and welcome. I'm Kate. I'm the CEO of Lately, and joining me today is Rob Balasabas, who is...
Yeah.
I've been practicing your name, Balasabas. We already said it sounds like Black Sabbath, which goes with your whole look over there today.
Yeah, yeah, all black everywhere. Yeah,
awesome. Very Darth Vader,
yeah.
which is the opposite of you. So Rob. All right. So I tell you, we've got to be serious now. This is Lately Live. It's a serious show. We've got Rob. He's from Thinkific. He's the social media and community manager there. But he's so much more. I mean, I wrote about this morning. I was like, I'm envious of your whole thing. And my thing is pretty good, Rob. So that's saying something, because like on social media, you are like an octopus. You are everywhere all the time. It's just amazing to me. And like, you're this super duper army. And I know that like, I have more people helping me than you have helping you. I know this. And so I look at you and I think, how does he do it? And so anyways, today we want to talk about video in particular because, hey, video is hot and sexy and we're doing it now. Mm-hmm. We want to just sort of talk about, you and video and how you do it well. We want to have you reveal some tips and tricks and that kind of thing. Does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds like a plan. Let's begin. I'm really excited, to actually talk to you about it. So yeah, let's do it.
I know you're kind of like my best friend lately because we've been doing a lot of, pun intended, a lot of things. Yeah, right. So let's talk about video in general. Like, why is video having a moment right now? What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I think video has always kind of been like, even when I was in school, like Kate, like, we were doing like projects and stuff, and there's like a book project or something. If there was a video or a movie on this this book, I'd rather watch the video and then write the paper. So, as human beings, I think we just tend to gravitate towards video versus text, maybe even versus audio, I would say. But so I think right now that's just video is hot just because it's like all the different social platforms are really, making it easier to create video content. They are giving it a lot more weight. So their algorithms on LinkedIn and Facebook and Instagram stories, like YouTube is all about video. So, this is how people want to consume content. And so obviously the social platforms are making it easier to deliver and create these videos, video content in different ways. And then there's all these other tools now that are being developed around video content. So yeah, it's an interesting time, I'd say, in marketing.
Yeah, I think there's something about the looking you in the eye thing that is so, it's really everything about it, right? Because of course, I was a rock and roll DJ in another life, which and a lot of watching know. So like, I do have a thing for audio, but the beauty of video is that direct, instant human connection, which you do so incredibly well. I mean, it's like you seem effortless about it. And can you talk about that a little bit? So when you're doing your different styles of videos, like what kind of prep do you do beforehand? I try to think about like what's the outcome that I'm looking for with the different types of videos. So if it's YouTube, I mean, really in all of them, it's either, I always say like be educational or entertaining, right? I think those are the two things. I'm not really good at being entertaining, so I tend to be more educational. And so, if you're entertaining, if you can, make these viral videos and things like that, that's great. It's really tough. It's really hard, I think. Maybe that's just me. But I tend to make a lot of educational content. So tutorials, walkthroughs, I'll talk about tech. I'll share my screen and talk about certain things and like strategies for social media. So I try to think about what the outcome is that I'm trying to deliver. And so, and then bring value. So what is the value? So if I was the viewer of this video, would I get something out of it? Would it be relevant to the people that are following me on LinkedIn or Facebook or in a Facebook group? So yeah, you need to make sure that you're relevant and you're bringing value. So that's how I typically prepare. Yeah. And do you find yourself scripting things out generally, or like do you have an outline, or how does that work for you?
Yeah, it's a good question. I don't usually do a full script. I'll have bullet points. So yeah, I'll just have bullet points, like what the points are. So what are the 3 things to do when you're creating a LinkedIn video? So I'll do a video about that. And so I'll have like 3 points, right? So yeah, but as far as keep it simple. Yeah, keep it simple.
I like that. Yeah. So talk about how you get started. I read a little blurb about you getting started in video on family trips and outings. Talk about that a little bit.
Sure. Yeah. So, growing up, like I didn't really have like, we were like kind of middle class. So I didn't really have the opportunity to play around with a lot of like tech and video equipment and stuff like that. Like I think when I was like in college, I brought like, this might date me a little bit, but I had like this little handy cam. I don't know, like little camcorder thing. So I would play with that and, and like create like things like for like college projects and stuff. But I was always behind the camera. I was super shy. Like growing up, and even now, even now I'm like super shy as a kid and as a grown up. But so I always tended to be behind the camera. And so, when I had kids, I would, we had phones. And so I would like, create, film them and stuff. And I would like basically ask them questions. So it was like my first interviews, I guess. But I'd film them, ask them questions. And that was really sort of like how I started really playing with it. I would edit them on iMovie. So nothing fancy. I wasn't like, what is it, Premiere or Adobe or anything. It wasn't like super fancy. I would just like put them on iMovie on my MacBook and start chopping it up, add little things. And that's how I started playing with it. When I started working at Thinkific, they did this thing with where they did monthly video updates. So we would do like a monthly video and different team members would come on and we would share like what's the latest thing happening with the app or what are some of the events that are happening coming up, what are some project features that are being launched, that kind of thing. And so I was one of the few people that would like come on and like talk for like 15 seconds. It was like frightening, but I had a couple really good colleagues that like walked me through like, okay, like do this and this and this. And it's just like anything, just more practice, then you just get more comfortable. And so, that's how I kind of got into it. And then now I'm, doing more live streams and webinars and things like that, and just creating videos just for fun on different social channels.
And so can you touch on that shy bit a little bit? Like for other people who are watching who feel shy and are not sure how to step into it, like how did you get over that?
Yeah, I think really just doing it. Yeah, you just got to put yourself out there. It's tough. Like I think if you are just naturally really shy, then you can start off with like what I did was I created an Instagram account and I did videos and I would upload it to this Instagram account with 1 follower, which is me, and just to see how it looks. Like, oh, okay, that's how it looks, and like, oh, I say this a lot. Maybe I shouldn't say that, and I don't look at the camera enough, and so you kind of start seeing that, and so I've seen other people also create a Facebook group that was just for them, similar to Instagram having like your own thing, and so I did that as well, and then I would go live on that like fake Facebook group, and you can kind of see the logistics of the technology, but also how you come across on video, right? So that's just, just if you're really serious about taking video on, then it's just practice,
That's a really great tip, and I just want to underscore. So you can create a fake account or a dummy account where it's just you, and then literally, practice by uploading live. One of the things back in my day was it's called air checks. And so you would just record the part of you talking between the songs and then go back and listen to them. And it's something that I have my team do all the time, whether it's Lauren on office hours or Asher and Chris when they're doing demos, is to record themselves or even phone calls and then listen back, because you're first to blush at your own mistakes, right? Yeah. So it's a really great way to critique yourself and to catch what you just said, like, how do you look on camera? Are you repeating certain things? All that. So hot tip, Rob.
Yeah, absolutely. And there's really nothing that can like sort of shortcut that learning curve, especially on video. And it's really important to just do it, because then at the end of the day, like if you guys are listening to this, then, if you put something up on Facebook or LinkedIn, the honest truth is that probably in about a week or a few days, that post will be buried so deep that it's not like it's it's not like it's, you're just going to continually grow. Like if you look at some of the YouTube, people that you watch on YouTube that you really respect and admire, and you're like, man, they're so amazing. Just go back, like go to their like archives of videos and go to like the first couple, and you'll see the difference. Like everybody, you got to start somewhere and grow somewhere else.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
And so let's talk about attire for a second. Like, is this something you've learned as well? Like, wear black, skinny.
I've tried to, like, I'm just trying to do this like uniform thing, like it's like either black or blue, solid colors, and it just happened to be black today. So
well, it's working. I like myself. I mean, so I just have this jacket that I put on over my yoga top, actually. I'm like Mr. Rogers. I just pull it out of the closet. I'm like, I don't have camera. I got to put on some makeup a little bit here.
Yeah.
But I think it's important. Like I used to coach people around, interviews with PR and stuff like that. And sometimes it's hard to take your own medicine, but I think it is important to feel really good when you're on camera. And so looking good is part of that, and looking your best. And just, again, practicing, having stuff in your room. It's better to, like, I'm breaking my own rules here, but like ideally I'd have a totally blank space behind me, whether it's white or black or something. Not, you guys can tell my humidifier is back there.
Yeah, it's nice. Yeah.
But I'm going for the human element. Like that's my jam, right?
That's right.
But I've noticed like you have, more often like some kind of sleek background going on, which definitely adds to a level of professionalism. And I get the sense of education is totally what you're about versus entertainment. So it's clear that those kinds of visual cues can help communicate that objective as well.
Yeah. I mean, little details like that. I was talking to a couple other friends that do a lot of video content, and so they typically do it in one place all the time. And the reason behind it, why they do that, is it's almost like branding. If like you're scrolling through Facebook or LinkedIn, you're like, oh, that's Owen's, like that's Owen's set. Like I know who that is, right? So he's doing live again, or he's got another video. So it's like sort of subliminal. And also for comfort, like I just know like, okay, I know this space. Like I know like this is sort of our studio here at the office. And so I know where the microphone is. I know where things are, so so I think that's sort of like why people use the sets. But, sometimes we just have to do it from home. And I think like what you mentioned, I think you have to prepare, you have to get ready and show up. So even if I'm doing like a live stream or recording something at home, I act like I'm going to work. So, I get ready, I take a shower, I don't do my hair, like it's just, I shave my head or something. But, you show up and, you can't have like, dirty dishes and stuff in the back and stuff,
right.
So you have like a nice set even at home or wherever you're doing it from. So I've actually seen a lot of content creators sort of like do behind the scenes on Instagram, and it's really funny because like they're literally in a closet, like they're in like one of their closets. You'd never know, but they're like in a closet, and like their laptop is like on a bucket.
The theater.
Yeah.
Great.
It's all for the show. Anyways.
Yeah, I totally. There's a door behind you where all my sweatshirts usually hang, and I always take them off and I throw them on the floor over there.
Yeah,
because it just looks messy.
Yeah.
So I make some effort. So how do you think about like video playing in the space with text and audio? Like, do you feel like these are tools that need to play together? Is video more important? It should be, more present than text, for example, like in the social media space.
Yeah, in the social media space, well, I think, I pay attention to a lot of like stats. And I think some of the stats that really jumped out at me are that, 92% of people are consuming, like when they see a video, 92% of people on social will tend to share videos, right? So, versus what they're sharing, as far as like maybe a blog post or something, it just doesn't catch your attention. Like when we are scrolling, we are just like being like, I think year after year, just the way the technology moves and social media moves, I think our attention span becomes shorter and shorter, right? So, having a video that captivates, like basically scroll stoppers, right? So if people are scrolling, how can you stop them from scrolling, right? So even if you have a video, I think a majority of consumers of Facebook videos have the sound off, right? So how, even if you have a really nice like video and you're just delivering so much like value, if they can't even hear you, then how do you then make them stop scrolling? So like, you know, putting like closed captions, these things are really important. Although we're talking about like text versus video, the video catches their attention, but then they actually need to consume it. They need to maybe have some closed captions, right? And you can do this very cost effectively. There's tools out there like rev.com, temi.com, SpeedScriber, all of these things. They're like 10 cents a minute to transcribe a video. And so, so you can take your videos and you can start repurposing them. So this is not to say that everyone consumes content by video. There's going to be people that tend to consume blog posts. They like to read. They like to sit on the train and read a nice blog post on their way home. So what you can do is you can start with a video, like a long form 10-minute video on YouTube. You can then transcribe it, turn that transcription into a blog post, and then start taking like little chunks of your video and transcribing that with closed captions for social. So there's a lot of ways that you can like, you know, take video and repurpose it.
Yeah, can I put a plug in for a tool in particular?
That's right.
Do this.
I wonder what tool. Yeah.
Yeah. So for folks who don't know, actually, it's pretty new that we released this. So huge props to my tech team and my CTO Brian Turkia. But we recently released a feature at trylately.com where you can take a link to a video and we will transcribe it into social posts.
I love that.
Help you then promote the video.
I love that. Yeah, I was just playing with that. Was it yesterday? And so, yeah, you guys are geniuses for putting that in. That just removes everything else. So anyways, yes.
Okay, awesome. Well, so let's talk about, you touched on it a little bit there, but like the connection with your audience. So when you're talking, oops, lost my thing here. When you're talking with your audience, how do you, well, so let me start this way. In radio, what we used to do was imagine that we were talking to one person and not like 20 million listeners or whatever it is. And so I would sometimes put a picture of like my friend or my mom or even my dog sometimes like in front of me just to really make that personal space and then also to like alleviate the nerves, that kind of thing. But there's different kinds of videos. Like this is a pretty casual one, obviously. But like Thinkific works with a lot of different customers on creating online courses, right? And so I'm sure that the way they talk to their different audiences varies. Can you talk about tips that you might recommend to people about communicating with the specific audience on video?
On video? Yeah. So you mean like sort of like what the content would be?
Yeah, and like, you know, would you talk differently to if the content is different, I guess. Like so if you were teaching an online course, would you be presenting a little bit different than we are right now?
Yeah. So I think so one of my colleagues kind of put it, you put it's really corny, so brace yourself. No, but he says put the wow like on social, like on YouTube. You know, so let's say like, so the saying is like, put the wow on social, but the how inside the course. Super corny. I love it. But it really makes sense, right? So if you're like on YouTube, you're like, okay, this is how you make, like, this is this really cool effect on, I don't know, like, Adobe After Effects or whatever, like really cool like effects, or like, this is the finished product of like this really fancy rainbow cake or whatever, you know, like some baker guy. Okay, cool. So then like, okay, well, how do you then do this, right? So then that's kind of where, you know, inside the course, then obviously it's going to be a little bit different, but the idea is like, you're gonna have a little bit more, you know, theatrics and like drama or whatever on like, you know, your social front facing video content. And then inside the course, it's going to be more like very instructional, step by step, really like
I love that.
fancy, like really deep dive into like each thing of, you know, each step of that process. So
put the wow on social, put the how inside.
Yeah, that's right. Inside the course. Yeah.
We should probably take that tip. As well. I'm all wow, Rob. Like, yeah. I have a little problem.
All wow everywhere.
Too much wow. So have you ever made a mistake live on video, and what was it? What was the hardest one or the most embarrassing one or the funniest one? And then how did you get out of it?
I can't really. I mean, I think I have when I first started doing live interviews. I think like you, I couldn't. I'm really bad at saying names, so I never asked, and so I just like totally like butcher people's names. But really, just not being prepared. So like a big part of like like going live or something was just like, okay, I don't even know what to say. So like, you would answer and it was just super embarrassing because like you would have like these interviews and you're supposed to be like sort of like a bit of an expert in kind of what you're talking about, but yet you don't have any like thing of value to share. So, it's, I think, just being prepared. And then also not understanding your audience, right? Mm-hmm. So, like if you're talking, because you're so used to talking to entrepreneurs, for example, and then you start talking to people that are like employees. So like maybe they're like in a capacity where they do need to think sort of entrepreneurially, but like they're not really, they don't have their own business or anything. So like, sort of like not speaking to the audience. So you have a really big disconnect. And so people are not going to engage with you. They're not going to ask questions. They're not going to connect with you after. So I think those things, so really simple things, just preparing. So when we used to go live, I would just go live. Like me and my colleague Patty, we would just go live and be like, okay, like this is really fun. And like we would talk to people and we would get comments and stuff. But it was very short-lived. So now we really put some effort into, learning about our guests or learning about the audience or that brand that we're going to go live with and understanding that. So that's sort of the biggest takeaway, I think, for me as I started to do this more and more. It's just like being prepared and doing a bit of research before you go live.
Yeah, super smart. I used to, and I did actually before this because I got it from radio, but like I always do a little warm up with my mouth, just, things going like very drama.
Yeah. Yeah, I used to have a friend that was kind of like, he's kind of like a failed actor, I guess. But like he would have these like, we would record like this tutorial stuff and he would just do these like weird sounds with his mouth and it was just like.
There's value in that, man.
Yeah, I was just like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, it's like, this is from my acting coach. Like, this is what I do. So I was like, okay.
You're like, yeah, okay.
Okay. Anyways, but it makes sense. It makes sense. Yeah.
It does. Yeah, thank you. So, like, I know you use a lot of tools to. Oh, actually, before I ask that question, I do want to say, I forget where I saw it. I think Facebook, but you did this hilarious video, speaking of Patty, where like here you are in your black top and your black background, and then suddenly there's different people in your team like zooming by in their chairs.
Yeah. So we so that's for if anybody like that's for this conference called Social Media Marketing World that we're going to. And so, like knowing, we've been there a couple times in the past, so we kind of know that the audience is a little bit more loose and they're not like very corporate. They're social media people, right? Like, so we're like, okay, how do we do this thing? How do we like introduce ourselves so that like our personality comes across and, all that stuff. So we had Patty, like he's like really formal English guy, kind of with his accent, talking about like, hey, we'd love to see you. We'd love to collaborate with you when you're down there. And then we just have these people kind of, clowning him behind the scenes. But it came across really well because we got our message across. But yet, it was fun and, so it was engaging. But yeah.
And I think your social text on it said, like, try not to laugh. Like, you won't be able to not laugh. And you were right. I was like, this is funny.
Yeah, exactly. Those like little captions too, like, man, they're so funny. Like I pay attention to social media a lot. Mm-hmm. So I'll like kind of, like read comments like them, like, okay, like that's kind of like a challenge. Like, okay, try not to laugh. Okay, well now I got to see this thing,
right?
And try not to laugh. So then like, I don't know, just like sort of like the mentality and the psychology behind like even captions, which I know we're not talking about. We're talking about video, but
we're talking about captions to promote video. So
yeah, that's right. That's right.
In fact, I'm going to steal that for this. So Beth, Katie, if you're listening, let's use try not to laugh when we're promoting this video later with Rob.
The views are just gonna no.
Yeah, exactly. Wait, so speaking of conferences, you have a summit coming up. And
that's right. Yeah, we're really excited. You're going to be joining us in the summit. Just started yesterday, actually. So
Awesome.
Yeah, it started yesterday, so all the presentations are starting to get released. But yeah, super excited to have you. Yeah, it's going to be
Where
exciting.
can people go to join your summit?
theonlinecoursesummit.com. So maybe if we can share the link, but yeah, theonlinecoursesummit.com. Free, so it's totally free. I think we have like over 50 different speakers around online courses, creating online courses, marketing online courses, of course, you sharing tools that, to help you market online courses. So it's really exciting.
Cool. Yeah. Beth, Katie, Asher, I know they're on our chat. So can you guys post the link for folks so they can see it? Yep. Thank you so much. Yeah, I'm on with Carrie on the 17th, which I'm so psyched about. She's an amazing woman. I'm so glad that you introduced me to her. So thanks. And I'm really, really proud to be a part of what you're doing. So
awesome. Yeah. No, it's exciting. Good to have you.
Cool. So I was thinking also about, as you've been making videos, what are your favorite tools? I know you use a lot of tools because I see you tag people a lot, like us at Lately and other companies, which is really a smart way to do some of your social promotion. But as far as video tools, like what are your favorites that you can recommend? I know you mentioned some text transcription tools earlier. Anything else that you like a lot?
Yeah, so like tools as far as software, obviously to get them on syndicated, love Lately. You guys make my life easy. We have a lot of blog posts, so we have a lot of blog posts that I then turn into social posts. So that makes life easier because obviously as a social media manager, it's really hard. Like again, we were talking before, I'm not really the best writer. It's not really my thing. So somebody else wrote a really awesome blog post, and so I take that and put it through the Lately machine, and it pumps up social posts for me. So anyways, that makes it really easy. As far as tools, there's a couple. Revio, I think is how you say it. Revio is really good. Also, wave.videos is really good. I like using those tools just to make like social, I guess like videos. So kind of like the ones that you might see on BuzzFeed or like Tasty, those kind of videos. Just like really short videos. As far as like actual software, I'm really basic. Like I just use iMovie, right? So I think I really I wanted to make sure that I touch on, like even tools with creating videos and editing videos and even shooting videos. Mm-hmm. A lot of people get really intimidated that like, oh, I need to buy, I need to drop like a few $1,000s on a really nice camera and like microphones like this, which I mean,
I'm one of those.
They're great. But I mean, this is at the Thinkific studio. So, we just have we're able to use that, but like, you can just use your phone, right? Like a lot of the videos that I would create, even the one that you're talking about with Patty and like, with us, like with the chairs and stuff, that was just like on my MacBook webcam, and that was good enough. And then I cut it on iMovie, and then that was it. There's a tool out there as far as like creating graphics called Easel. So sometimes I'll put in, like a thumbnail, right? You create a thumbnail, and I use Easel for that. It's free. I think they've got a paid plan, but it's like under $10 a month, and you get all these templates for free. So I like using that. So those are some of the tools. As far as microphones and stuff, like I just try to make sure I have one of these. These are actually really good. Like sort of the benefit that you get from like spending, like $20 or $30 on one of these headsets. And then hundreds, or I don't know. I don't even know how much these things cost. Like probably a few $100s for like a really good microphone.
Yeah.
The benefit that you get as far as quality is not that much more. So, once you're able to like obviously getting a return on the content that you're creating for your business, then you can invest in some of these really cool tools. But as far as like tools, microphones like this, a phone like this, and you're good. Yeah.
And you're ready to rock. Wow. So that's all it takes to be Rob.
No,
I'm just kidding. So much more.
No, that's really it. That's pretty much it.
So it's thinkific.com to learn more about the work that Rob does. And I just want to say thank you so much. Again, I'm Kate Lee from Lately, www.trylately.com to learn more about Lately Live and all the magical things that we've been talking about today. And Rob, I just can't thank you enough for sharing these really stellar tips with us. So thank you.
Thanks for having me. Thank you.
All right. Rock on. Bye.